Hey everybody, Adam and Jordan here to bring you this week's fishing report. Hope everybody had a good week and is looking forward to fishing this weekend. We're going to start off with freshwater today because Jordan here just got first place in a kayak bass fishing tournament on the Juniata River, fishing for smallmouth. So you want to tell us a little bit about that, Jordan?
Yeah, so this time of year, a lot of smallmouth in these rivers, whether it's the Potomac or the Susquehanna, utilize their tributaries to go up and spawn. So for example, up on the Susquehanna, they're going up the Juniata to spawn. They just finished their last wave of spawning about a week and a half ago, so they're still up there, and they're in a little bit of a post-spawn funk, but they're finally starting to bite. So what's been working really well for me has been a chatterbait, specifically a 3/8 ounce Evo, paired up with any sort of slimmer trailer, such as the razor shad or the chatter spike. That's the same thing for the Potomac as well. Kind of in a little bit of a funk. It's a lot of smaller fish at this current point in time. The bigger fish should start biting here soon, but besides smallmouth, let's get into a little bit of largemouth. So typical summer patterns, wacky rig, just kind of finesse them a little bit. You can try glide baits in top water. I do that more in the morning and evenings. The Eastern Shore ponds have been doing really, really good. Some of those Eastern Shore rivers, such as the Chickawacomico and Sassafras, have been fishing really good, so that's been doing a lot better this year than it was last year.
And you guys can always go, sorry to interrupt you, Jordan,
no, you're
but
good.
you guys can always go to your neighborhood ponds and lakes and things like that. Anywhere that might have largemouth in it, largemouth this big, he'll eat a little green pumpkin Senko. So
Yeah.
anywhere you guys want to go bass fishing, that's going to be a good bet to throw.
Yeah, and then also on the largemouth side, if you're fishing some of the local reservoirs, such as like Rocky Gorge, Liberty, all those reservoirs, just go throw a mag draft on any steep bank. It's been doing really, really good. If you have scope, look for any sort of little bit of offshore grass related to hard structure. That's been producing a lot of fish. And then as far as snakehead goes, smaller fluke style baits has been doing really good for those pressured fish in some of these local rivers, as well as if you're down by Blackwater, some sort of little kicking toad. This is the flapping frog by Spro. It's very similar to a ribbit frog. It's been producing a lot of fish for a lot of guys around here.
Yeah, and as far as some other stuff in freshwater, obviously your panfish. Like we always say, if you can't catch anything else in the summer, you can go catch some bluegill, put a night crawler under a bobber. Most bodies of freshwater are going to have bluegill or red ears or some sort of sunfish in them. So you could do a float and fly, you could do a night crawler under a bobber if you're not catching anything else. Now moving into the bay, off of freshwater and into the brackish water, I know you guys want to hear about rockfish. Truthfully, the best bite right now is from first light until sunrise. So like about 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., no matter where you are in the bay, that is your best bite right now. That's going to be around shallow water structure. So places like Poplar Island, Thomas Point, the rock piles at the Bay Bridge, the mouth of the Patapsco, Thomas Point Light, any of those places where you have shallow water structure and current ripping through them. Fish topwater, shallow plugs, and light jig heads with plastics in the early morning. Two of the ones that have been producing really well for us here at the store, the head-in one knocker, this red head with the white body, nice classic color. And then weirdly enough, pink has been a good topwater color for us recently. This nice hot pink from Yozuri. It's got a big cup mouth and spits a lot of water. If you get past that morning bite and you guys are really struggling to catch fish, you could always switch over to perch. I know some of them have been caught in the shallows right now. We'll get to them in a second here. The other thing that's been pretty effective for rockfish has been live lining. And sometimes as you get later into the day and you have those really finicky fish, it's always a good idea to bring some spot with you, or at least some bloodworms where you can go catch some spot. So after that morning bite, you can go and live line around the bridge pilings. Live lining's been good in the Patuxent River and around the power plant. A couple of us guys were out here with Travis Long of Schooled Up Charters, and he's been whacking them live lining around there. So that is a really good option for you guys going to do rockfish. Bringing it back to perch, you want to tell us a little bit about that, Jordan?
Yeah, so just the perch have been a little bit slower coming in this year, but they finally seem to be here in decent numbers, and they're fairly large actually. A lot of 12+ inch fish have been caught. Throwing little perch hounders, the 1/4 ounce, any sort of gold blade color has been working really, really good for me. Up shallow on some docks around some grass. And then also you can kind of move, like if you get done with the rockfish in the morning, like what Adam said, you can kind of move out to a little bit deeper water, find some hard bottom, like on oyster bars and all that good stuff. Throw your sabiki rig out there and just drop it down and kind of wait around for it. And another good thing is you can also catch spot doing that the same way. If you find oyster bars, there's going to be some spot hanging around. They've been a lot bigger this year than they have in the past, but you just got to kind of work with what you got to work with. So it's been a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, and you'll also find some croakers when you're bottom fishing as well, including some, just barely keepers in the mix. So, and we had a good number of bigger croaker last year, so hopefully we get more of them in. As far as some other stuff going on in the bay, we've got bluefish. The further south you go, the bigger they get right now. But people are catching, just little pan-sized bluefish as far north as the Bay Bridge. And people are catching some, jumbo choppers, like mid 20-inch fish. As far north as like Sharp's Island Light and all the way down through to the mouth of the bay. You can find them in open water mostly. You can troll for them using spoons or spoonbrellas, hoses, anything like that. But also look for birds and bait balls, because a lot of the time those bluefish, even if it's the middle of the day, they will just start blowing up on bait. And if you see that and you want to throw lures as opposed to troll through them, just a metal like this is the Sting Silver, just the chartreuse yellowtail, super classic, always been one of my favorites. Way down the bay, kind of a little bit past your Maryland line, we were starting to see some mackerel, which is a really good sign. We didn't get them too thick last year, so hopefully they start to push up this way, and you'll find them and fish for them in sort of the same way that you would do for the bluefish. But if you're trolling, you might want to bump it up to like 7.5 mile an hour to sort of filter out those bluefish. As far as some other stuff we got going on in the bay right now, obviously catfish. It's going to continue to be tough as the water warms up. It's been pretty tough. I know some guys are getting some like schoolie-sized channel cats around the bridge and some of your structure around the bridge right here. Pedickery Point as well, the mouth of the Chester. Small blues and small channel cats, that's kind of it right now. So if you guys wanted to maybe like downsize your circle hooks to maybe a 4/0, 5/0, put out some chum, drop down some LY, not much to it there. As far as cobia and red drum, they are being seen in Maryland waters. I would say you don't really want to go north of the Potomac right now. The target ships, that's sort of as far north as I would go, and then all the way down to the mouth of the bay. Remember, you can run around with your side scan. You can be up in your tower to try and spot those cobia, and when you spot them, cobia or red drum, you got to be really quick to get a lure in their face. Big 7-inch paddle tails, big hair jigs, stick baits, anything like that is a good thing to throw at them, or a live spot if you see a cobia on the surface or a live eel. So over on the coast, in the back bay, we've got guys catching mostly schoolie-sized rockfish. Some of them are in that ocean slot, and maybe just a little bit bigger, but most of your migratory big old cows are gone right now. Guys are definitely catching bluefish in the back bay off the 50 bridge. Flounder's been okay. I've heard the water's been a little bit dirty, so guys are having a little bit of a tough time finding flounder in the back bay, but sheephead has been pretty good at the inlet and some of your other shoreline structure. Pushing off to your wrecks and reefs, sea bass is on fire. I can't tell you the amount of people coming in here telling us that they're limiting out on jigs, no less. But you can also drop down just like a top and bottom rig with some squid. You might find some flounder in there as well. Haven't really heard of any like triggerfish or anything showing up yet, but that should be any day now. And then pushing offshore, we've got bluefin like crazy right now. When you guys can find weather to get out there, I would definitely go. Guys are getting them trolling. Couple guys are getting them on jig and pop. There's been some videos that I've seen of them blowing up all over the surface. I did hear the first white marlin caught out of Ocean City this week. Haven't heard too much about mahi on the pots yet, but hopefully we'll have a better report on that next week. And then tilefish has been on fire as well, just dropping down. We do have these Jigging World tilefish rigs right here. Drop them down with some squid, or you can slow pitch jig them, whatever you want. And then crabbing has been pretty good as well. Guys are both running pole traps and trot lines. Chicken necks and razor clams I've heard have been working well. Anywhere from like 6 to 8 foot of water. And yeah, you should have a good shot at getting some crabs if you wanted to try this weekend. And I think that about does it for our fishing report. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.